Hi, hello, and welcome. I am Catherine Gagno, Executive Director at the Natural Life Business Partnership. Welcome to Tribe Talks, where each week we're going to feature various members of the Natural Life Business Partnership, our community. For short, NLBP is a unique global business community of very high achieving, soul centered entrepreneurs who want to level up their business and co create with other like minded professionals. We collaborate, we guide one another, we hold you accountable, and we model what's possible, provide resources, and inspire you to aim higher. So there's an incredible power when the empowered and enlightened gather together. And today, our member, Jessie Lucas, will join us. She is going to discuss body mechanics. I know, what is that? But she's the perfect person because to help us lead this conversation, as she is a movement educator and founder of the Embodied Movement Method. She helps women navigate their energetic and emotional habits that shape their physical well-being, to reduce stress and strain in their systems, uplift their posture and energy, and create empowered health through embodied movement. She holds a master's degree in health arts and science and has been working in the movement, health, and fitness industry since 2003. So without further ado, I'm excited to introduce everybody. And just to share, Jessie's actually celebrated her 1 year with NLBP and what a year it has been for her. So let's get her on the line. Hi, Jessie.
Hi.
Good
to
morning.
Be here. Good morning.
Thank you for waiting. I'm sorry to keep you in the green room, as
That's
they
okay.
say. But I was just sharing quickly, just kind of giving a highlight of your background. And first off, congratulations, because you are celebrating a year with the NLBP. And what a year it has been for you. And, I'd love to hear a little bit before we even jump into all the parts about the body embodied movement method and the body mechanics, but what role has actually the NLB played for you on your journey thus far? And I know we said we're going to be using our hands a lot, so
yeah, when Catherine and I were talking last week and kind of prepping for this, I'm like, I work in the world of movement and I'm Italian, and she's like, my hands are flying. So if you're visually overstimulated, you can kind of step back a little bit. But yeah, NLBP has been the word that keeps coming to mind as I've, talked to people and tried to describe what my experience has been. It's been kind of an incubator for me. So I'll put that in a little bit of context. So I come from a movement world. So I've been a yoga teacher and personal trainer in 2020 when the gyms closed. And I was still working part-time in the gyms. I looked at all of the other work that I do. And I said, what now? Like a lot of people did. And I already was working on some changes. I knew there was going to be an evolution of the way my embodied movement work was showing up in the world, but I didn't quite know what that was or any strategy behind it or what it was going to be creating. And then I found Camille and NLBP and started having those conversations. And it was through kind of coming into the group and embracing all of the wisdom and the knowledge and the inquiry and the support that the next steps of my work in the world kind of showed up. So it allowed me the space to be curious. It allowed me the space to kind of let go of the wheel a little bit and create something that didn't previously exist, because I had a good container to do it in, and the support and all of the fuel that the community provides.
I love that reference, the container, if you will, because a lot of it gets mixed up in there and things can start to happen. I love that reference. I've actually never heard that before. So
it's one of my favorite words. And when I'm working on something, like having a container, so that can be a whole nother conversation.
Oh, okay. We'll see. That I've made a note, just so you know. And actually, when we were chatting, I realized, how important it was to have you share your journey, because you've taken so many paths and various experiences, which kind of all led you to where you are today. But I think hearing your journey, and you say it so succinctly, and you just say it so beautifully, but I'd love for you to kind of share it because I can't do it justice, and I don't want to, you have to share your journey. But if you could just share, because I think it's like I said, it's really impactful. So do you mind just kind of taking us from where you started and how you've gotten to where you are today?
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely. And I will give you the succinct version, the more succinct version today, because I know we don't have a ton of time. But if any of this speaks to you, I know my contact information will be here. I would love to share the more full version, or invite you into any of my spaces where you kind of get more of the story. But basically, so I've been in this movement space. It's been my only career path for around 20 years. And it started when my oldest was born. I was a young mom. I was barely 23 when I had my first kiddo. And thankfully I had already discovered yoga and had a commitment to my yoga practice before that. But I realized really quickly, having this little infant holding all the time, I started to lose this practice that really kind of grounded me, brought me to a sense of myself, gave me, kind of regulated my nervous system, gave me a sense of peace and calm, and took care of the health of my body. And the more I started to lose myself to becoming a mother, unfortunately, it was in a not so great environment of an unhealthy marriage and turning into an abusive marriage. And another kid later, it just, so much was lost along the way. And I was able to hang on to little threads. That's actually when I went and did my yoga teacher training, kind of right in between those two kids. My kids are about 5 years apart. And in doing so, it was a reclaiming of a sense of autonomy and independence, and allowing me to kind of give that to other people. Fast forward, after the second kiddo was born, going through, finally kind of ripping the Band-Aid, going through a divorce, getting myself to a place where I was safe again, I realized, oh crap, like now I have two kiddos to care for all by myself. I lived at the top of a mountain. I split my own firewood. I had pigs and chickens. I homeschooled my kids. It was a lot. So the turning point was when I started incorporating the fitness side of things. And mind you, I was not a gym rat. I was not a fitness junkie. In fact, I almost kind of snobbishly at that time looked down my nose at that industry. I thought it was a place for ego. I know everybody who came into my yoga classes from the fitness space, they were injured, their hamstrings were tight. So I didn't get it until I had the opportunity to take on a personal training clientele. I kind of had no other option. I needed more bookable hours. So I kind of was like, all right, I'll find a way, I'll do this. And I had this moment where I was practicing these standard fitness moves, nothing crazy, nothing special. I wasn't doing anything major as far as feats with my body, but I had this moment when I was like hiding this upstairs back corner room in the gym, and I was lifting these weights, and it all kind of came together. And I said, oh my gosh, I feel strong. Like,
Right.
not my little baby biceps, because they were here, but I feel strong. And I realized I had meditation, I had yoga, I had a good community of friends. I, ate good food, drank my water, got enough sleep, all of the quote unquote right things. I had good mindfulness practices, all of it. But nothing was giving me my sense of self back, and a sense of personal strength that maybe I had never built as a young adult who gave myself right into motherhood. Maybe some of it was that I had was really destroyed and damaged. And it was I'm really stubborn. I'm a stubborn Aries. I'm a type A, so it took something more dense. It took this physical experience to kind of shoot right up to my brain and say, Leedy, you're strong. And that was kind of the turning point that I first of all went and developed this personal training clientele. Loved helping people get out of pain, because I brought my yogic perspective about body mechanics and alignment, right, and all of that. And I know we'll get into that. But that's what inspired me to, a few years later, on top of all of that my resume there, go back to grad school and really study this this, how does movement affect your mental and emotional health? Because I knew if that's what it took for me, there were other people, especially women, walking around with, trauma, anxiety, PTSD, lack of self-worth, all of these things, or even physical pain, chronic pain.
Right.
And it's going to take some sort of movement to shift the gears.
So that's, as you were saying, okay, so body mechanics, the words at first glance tell me movement. So, that's one part, but I know that there's so much more depth beyond just waving our hands. Side note, where you and I are moving, but, as a founder of the embodied movement, what are your what are the three top things that you would want to share with our audience? Like, as we say the words embodied, what does that mean? And so what are the three words that kind of resonate to you that helped say this? We'll go back to succinctly.
Yeah.
But, what are the top three tips for the whole idea of body mechanics? Like, what is that? I mean, like I said, I kind of get it, but what does that mean? And the embodied movement going and, weaving that into your embodied movement that you're the founder of. So.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask me, well, what the heck is it? Is it dance?
Right.
Is it yoga? Is it working out or whatever?
Right.
And I really look at it as kind of taking a bird's eye view, kind of taking a bigger, there go the hands, taking a bigger perspective. And embodiment is really kind of being present with yourself. A lot of people say, I don't even know that I have a body. I don't even know, what's going on, that disconnection or disassociation. So I look at embodied movement is that connection, that bringing your sense of self, your presence, your awareness into the physical experience of your body. And body mechanics, looking at that very practically, your posture. Let's just break it down to that to be succinct. Your posture. A lot of people wiggle when I start talking about that. But that the body mechanics, you really have room to move. You really have a way to adjust the physical structure, the posturing of your body, your movement habits. And that kind of goes up the chain of the nervous system to your brain to make those changes about how you feel as yourself. So the three things I would say is, one of my favorite quotes, I taped it on my wall so I could read it to you right now. It's Viktor Frankl. And he said, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And that space is our power to choose our response. Our response lies our growth and our freedom. So the first thing I would say is it's kind of two words, stimulus and response, and recognizing there's a gap there. And a lot of people don't know there's a gap there. We're so quick to react, that our bodies are so primed for, whether we're living in survival mode or just so busy or so disconnected, that we don't even know there's a gap. So the first thing is recognizing stimulus response, and there is a gap. And in that gap, if you can learn that space, and that's what playing with body mechanics and learning this embodied movement method can do. It can teach you what's in that space. The second piece, the second word is safety. Okay. This is a whole nother thing. One of the biggest reasons I have found, I experienced it myself, I experience it with a lot of my clients, I experience it with all the conversations I have with other wellness workers, the therapists, the nutritionists, the health coaches, is we all walk around with a pain body. And that pain body might be physical pain. You might have had an injury, either it's acute or it was a long time ago, and it's still kind of living in your body, the fear of re-injuring. And the pain body is a lot of stored emotional pain. And I that's, again, a whole nother thing. I won't get into that, but just recognizing, if you're going to look in that gap, there's stuff there, dark stuff, ugly stuff, scary stuff. The fear of inviting, kind of awakening the pain body, physical, emotional, what have you, is that's the first kind of red flag. A lot of people just turn right back there. So just even recognizing, yes, that's a step in the process, can make you kind of exhale for a second and recognize, oh, this isn't something to overlook, to shove under the rug, but to really find a way to be steady and present and move through In my
Okay.
work, I call it diving into the darkness, and it's about resiliency and steadiness. And even just recognizing that there is a way through it that's not really disrupting,
Right.
and brings enough relief that it brings the nervous system down a few notches that you can actually go into that space. So safety would be my second word. And then the
Okay.
third one is move. Is,
Uh,
this is all about, one of the terms they use is kinesthetic intelligence, knowing the what the sensations in your body, how do you find them? What are they trying to tell you? And how do you act accordingly based on what they're telling you? Moving, I look at movement as kind of like lighting up the info board. When you move in different ways, right? That's what happened to me. I moved in different ways, this unfamiliar, funky to me fitness space. I moved in
right.
different ways. It lit up
Right.
different neuromuscular pathways that gave me new information to play with.
Right.
So, if you can become aware of the gap, if you can go in safely, knowing there's some gunk under there, and move and kind of light up that info board to create new kinesthetic information to deal with, then you can really create some interesting change.
I love that. I love it. It makes
I
me
do too.
excited. um, and they're all really impactful, but it does really talk to, we've had more in-depth conversations, but it's like you just tip the iceberg, right? And I think there is so much more behind it. And I'm sure 3 tips is probably not enough. There's probably, it's a lifelong actually journey, right? It's not just a tip, but I think if people can tip the iceberg and get to that point, then it would just be helpful for them as individuals, as they start this journey of, a little bit of self-awareness as well. I'm sure that goes with it, as you're just sharing when you're diving into your darkness, and unearthing that. So that kind of brings me to, so here you are as a member of NLBP, and there's other health coaches. There's a gamut of different folks that are part of this organization, this partnership. And it's such a community of uplifters, if you will, and inspiration, but also this accountability component to it to help, it's like coaches within coaches, but it's like, we all need help to keep ourselves on a path. So what is that one piece of advice that you have actually gained from the partnership, that's helped your business? As this past year, you said it's been kind of a breakthrough year, launching your business, this new beautiful website that you've launched and your whole business. But what was that? I'm sure there may not be one piece, but what was the one piece that kind of rose or bubbled to the top, if you will, that you would want to share with us that, was a life-changing moment, if you will?
Yeah, I know you've been tossing around a couple of different ideas of kind of what to call these recorded conversations that you're doing, and one of them was Tribe Talks. And
Yes.
as I was thinking about our conversation this morning, and really the one of the main things I was missing that I would now tell people, if you don't have this, go find it somewhere, is finding a tribe. And
Yes.
the world of embodiment, this one of my biggest frustrations has been kind of being in a field that not a lot of people are a lot of people are talking about it, but a lot of people aren't talking about it. It's
Mhm.
not as grabbable as, say, weight loss, or preparing for a bodybuilding competition, or even just something as
Right.
simple as come to your weekly yoga class, something that's kind of already familiar, already in people's vocabulary. This world of embodiment, whether I'm looking for the people who need this kind of help, the people who, like me, needed a different avenue to some deeper healing, or the people who work in the wellness space who are missing that kinesthetic component, the body component, who want to add it to their repertoire, maybe they
Right.
are a nutritionist or a therapist or something like that. What I realized is they don't know the questions to ask. They maybe don't even know that they're missing the kind of service I can provide. And so before in LBP, it was like I was just shouting into this void, like, there's this thing, this world of embodiment, and it was just go, go, go. And then you finding in LBP, these people and the people in the group are from all different fields, right? We have a
I
web
love
guy,
that.
we have Reiki healers, we have space organizers who helped me make my office last year. So I've benefited also from the services of the people in the group myself. But finding that tribe of being able to have these conversations and people go like, you know what? you're right. That's
Right.
important. Tell me more about that. I know somebody who needs your help. Actually, I need your help. And to have that resonance. So it's more than just, I think the terms we could understand are, masterminding and accountability and, even cheering each other on, celebrating, having a
Right.
sounding board when we don't know what we're doing, and we can just shout out and ask, and maybe somebody's had a similar experience that they can share with you. All of those kinds of things, but it's been so much more than that. And it's allowed me to be in a place of, I know what I have and I know where I want to go with it, but I don't know who it's going to resonate for. And now I have a tribe of people who get it and can help. Like you said, we are a community of uplifters, and I have not only felt uplifted, but kind of connected into a broader community outside of NLBP because of who everybody else knows. So that's been one of the biggest values I've gotten. And one of the things that I would tell, Pat, a year and a half ago, me or anybody else who is kind of in that place, is it doesn't have to be someone exactly in your exact field that you're masterminding with, but to find a tribe of people that you resonate with, who you can have these conversations with. Because I'll tell you what, it's very frustrating when it's all just existing in my own mind and in my own paper and my own computer, but getting it out there. And I'm an introvert, as introverted as they come.
I know you say this, but it's hard to believe.
That's because I'm in my cozy home, and when we're done, I get to close my computer and go on my walk by myself. But it's having that community, especially the comfort for an introvert. And not everyone in the community is, but that resonance of just comfort in having folks there for you.
No, I love that. And I think that, and when we say coach, it's like there are many coaches within the partnership, but it's about coaching one another. And I think it's that, I'm sure it's that being able to turn to someone, as you said, and there's so many different ways to do that. And I think whether it be a coffee with Camille or what's working, what's the 3W, W3, as I call it now, what's working, what's not. And those calls aren't necessarily, it's not about complaining, but it's really about sharing your challenge and your success for that week, and helps others. Because when we talk about those things, we realize maybe somebody else is experiencing it too. And I think and I'll be honest, I don't even think the real business worlds are even structured that way. So I think it's such a unique opportunity, and it's unique. I've never heard any other group doing this. So I do love it. And I love that you just completely check every benefit box, because you utilize all of them, but it shows in terms of how you've resonated this past year. Right. So I think it warrants all the involvement, but you've gotten so much in return as well. So, and I think that's, for me, it's like bringing these tribe talks to everybody, because everyone should see how amazing that you are, and the group is, and the partnership is as a whole. So I love it. I want to, this is probably just talk 1 of 2 or 3. So let the tribe talks begin. And, we've now checked off box number 1, but I think it's good to check back in too with, our members as we go through, and as you've launched your business, and have a check-in with you in a few months to see where things are and how things have evolved. So let us do that. And I just want to say thank you for joining us and doing this. You're like Tribe Talk number 2.
Awesome. And I know Mary Ellen was Tribe Talk number 1, and she's amazing. I've gotten to do some work with her. And I thank you guys for the platform and for the support, and just for being an amazing group of humans.
No, it is. And so, and you really shared some, I think, valuable insights today. And so I think, we walk away learning something new as well. And I think that's also, these are all teaching, right? So we want to learn something as well. I know when I want to tune into something, it's about learning something new. So you completely have shared that. So thank you very much for your intelligence, and just being you. So, all right. So I think that's it. Thank you so much, Jessie. This has been fun. I'm going to give a wave with my hands.
Yay! You're welcome. Yay. Thank you, Catherine.
All right. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.